How many miles would you say this BMW X3 M40i has done? 10, 20, 30,000 miles? Maybe even less. Well, today we are going to find out. But before we do that, let's take this BMW X3 M40i for a drive. Test its 0 to 60, test its 30 to 70 time, see what MPG it'll do, and see how fun this thing is to drive. And of course, we are going to drive the tits off it, because my name's Tom, and you are watching Paragon Cars. Let's get into it. Now, it's interesting really, because if I told you the mileage of this car now, a lot of you would probably think, it's high, but it's not really that high. Or some of you may even think that's just straight up not a high mileage car. But one thing I want to address today is the stigma people have in the UK that when a car hits this mileage, people just turn their nose up at it. They say, well, it's not really worth anything now, is it? Because it's going to be going in the bin soon. But look, we have adaptive suspension. So if I put it in sports mode, it goes nice and stiff. And if those people with that stigma were correct, there'd be loads of creaks and squeaks and rattles in the interior of this thing. And there just aren't. The car looks fairly new inside. The only thing I notice is a bit of taxi mileage on the steering wheel, but that can be cleaned off. It's only things like tears on the steering wheel that you can't easily repair, where you have to kind of send it off and then get it replaced. And then parking this thing, the way people talk about this car's mileage, you would expect the steering to be creaking, the reverse camera to not be working, the parking sensors to be on the fritz. But if I pull up and then whack myself into reverse, you will see that all of this is still in working order. The X3 M40i actually has something called Park Assist, which will remember just over 50 yards of driving. So if you drive forwards into a space and it's a bit tight to get out again, you can literally click on a button and then it will take you back out of it. And it's pretty accurate. I've demonstrated it before in another video. If you want to go and see that video, click on the link in the top right hand corner. And then you'd expect the battery to be low in voltage because it's never been replaced. But as I will demonstrate now with this start-stop system, this isn't the mild hybrid version, so it doesn't have 48-volt architecture, so it is a little bit slower than the newer cars. But if I give it half throttle, it starts and goes with haste. And that B58, it does sound lovely, doesn't it? The direct injection engine, and a lot of people will say at this mileage that this car will be covered in carbon and it will have no performance and no fuel economy. Well, we are going to test the fuel economy today and see if it will still do its claimed 38 miles per gallon. So I'm going to reset it now and then see what we do. But first, we've got to test that performance. Is the engine really full of carbon deposits, or is it still just as good as it was new? I think this has just been run in, this engine, but let's find out and do the 30 to 70 sprint. The B58 once again proving how much of a monstrous engine it truly is. Remember, this is a near 2-ton SUV, and we have beaten a VW Golf R and matched an Audi S4 on our 30 to 70 sprint with a time of 4.04 seconds. But stay tuned, because later we're going to test the 0 to 60 time, and I think you might be surprised by how quick it is there. There's just something about BMWs, man, because when you put them in sports mode and put your foot down and that B58 comes to life, it just really makes you want to drive like a bit of a dickhead. And it can't just be me. It's like the car's so capable that everyone else around you just feels slow. Okay, BMW X3 M40i, coming onto the motorway just in comfort mode, putting my foot down now. And that's your lot of fun. Fun's over in 3 seconds. Probably even less, actually. This gearbox, it's a torque converter, but it's so quick. And where the ZF8 speed gearbox is so brilliant is at half throttle, because when you combine it with this 500 newton meters of torque that the B58 has, that comes in at just 1500 RPM, you get this wonderful surge of power. It almost feels like a really large, naturally aspirated V12. It's like Rolls-Royce in the way that it accelerates. Let me demonstrate now. So just half throttle, 2 gears, and you're gone, just like that. And you just have this thrum under the bonnet. It's stately. Now in comfort mode on the motorway, the suspension really settles. It's not jostly at all, really. It is firm. I would say it's firmer than an Audi Q5, but it's not going to annoy you. And these upgraded sports seats are actually really nice. It's a hard car to beat this, really, because it's got all the space you ever need. It fits in every space around town in London, and it still feels massive on the motorway. You still feel like nice and high up, that you're in a proper SUV. You've got low slung windows, you can rest your elbow on. It does just feel very, very expensive. And when a car's done this amount of miles, it is genuinely not that expensive anymore. But how many miles has this car actually done? Is it a lot, or is it not a lot? Well, before we find that out, let's see what MPG this car will do. Now, I know what you're going to say, you only managed 33.5 mpg, but unfortunately we did hit a little bit of traffic today. Even so, a near 400 horsepower, near 2-ton SUV, a petrol one at that, has done 34 miles per gallon driving on the motorway, and a bit of sporty driving. So if you do a long journey in this thing, you'll probably see near 40 miles per gallon, which is just bonkers when you consider this is a 6-cylinder turbocharged engine. Genuinely quite impressive. Now then, looking at the inside, would you say this is a 85,000 mile car? There's no elbow mark here or here. Driver's bolster, how's that doing? That looks pretty good to me. I can't really see anywhere. I mean, if someone said to me this car had done 20,000 miles, I would genuinely say it looks like it's done less, to be honest. Even the piano black plastic looks still pretty new to me. There's no scratches on the other seats, the rear seats. This car did have kids in it, and yeah, everything looks pretty good to me. Literally everything is spotless. And if you're American or European, you're obviously going to say, well, 85,000 miles isn't actually a lot of miles. And you would be right. But in the UK, we have this weird culture that anything above about 60,000 miles, for some reason, is basically looked at as if it's scrap metal. Really weird. But if you're in the know, and that you know this car has a B58 engine and a ZF 8-speed gearbox, two things that are known to last a very long time, then you can get yourself a frickin' bargain. And personally, out of all the SUVs that we've actually got in stock, this is the one that I would go for. But why do people in the UK have this stigma that anything over about 60,000 miles is unworthy of their money? Is it because the car doesn't perform as expected? Well, BMW say this car will do 0 to 60 in 4.6 to 4.8 seconds. So let's see if this 85,000 mile car can still match those numbers. So not only did we absolutely obliterate the claimed 0 to 60 time, we did 4.32 seconds. That is nearly the same as a Stage 2 M140i, granted their rear-wheel drive, but also nearly the same as an all-wheel drive Mercedes A45 AMG, a car that was claimed to do 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. It's faster than a VW Golf R as well, and nearly as fast as an Audi RS3 on the 0 to 60 sprint. With a Stage 1 remap, this car would be in the 3s. Truly astonishing performance from the X3 M40i. And obviously the other benefit of a 6-cylinder turbocharged engine is the sports mode, because when you press it, you get stiffer suspension, increased throttle response, a heads-up display that then gives you a rev counter, traction control that can be turned off because this is a Beamer and that's what we want, and a rear-biased X-Drive system. All those things combine to make a pretty fun experience, which I shall now demonstrate. Brakes up first, M Sport brakes on this obviously. They have the same feel that they always do. They're a little bit spongy, but they are very effective. Steering, precise, but not so feelsome, kind of just gets the job done. Better than an Audi though. But where this X3 is great is when you come out of the corners, because it just holds onto the road like there's no tomorrow. Not so much oversteer, but there is plenty of grip, and you can feel the rear end pushing you out of corners, and that's what you want. You don't want that kind of Audi SQ5 push into understeer, which is very safe, but it's not that fun. This feels like you could take it to the Nürburgring and do laps in it. It is genuinely stonking. It's a precision machine at the end of the day. How does it sound through the tunnel? Yeah, standard B58, very throttled in stock form. But once you open these exhausts up, they do sound mega. But for an SUV, it just has this really nice flow to it with these adaptive sporty dampers. Like, you can just drive it at 8/10 everywhere, and it just feels really, really sorted. ZF 8-speed gearbox as well, perfectly calibrated in BMWs. Like, pull a paddle, you get a gear change, basically. It is genuinely astonishing how fast the torque converter can be these days. It's just such a fast SUV. And the thing is, there's one above this, the X3 M competition. And we drove an X4 M competition. If you want to go and see that review, click on the top right hand corner now. But do you need it? Personally, I really don't think you do. This is more than enough. And if you want more pace, you can just remap it. And the thing is, because it's got X-Drive, you're guaranteed that it's going to put the power down no matter what you do with it, in what weather. Now, down this B road is a true test of whether an SUV is a good all-rounder or not. Because a lot of German SUVs, I find, will be either too harshly sprung or too softly sprung, or their engines don't really match up with their suspension. Whereas this X3 M40i, well, to put it simply, it is a match made in heaven. The suspension wafts and floats over the bigger bumps and just keeps you in contact with the road, so you can deploy all that 360 horsepower. It is genuinely so perfectly calibrated for just driving briskly down a B road and getting to 60 before the corner. With X-Drive, it is not even a question. And round corners like that, you can feel the front end really pulling you around it. It's just such a fantastic feeling car to drive. And even though the steering is a little bit lackluster, it is in a lot of modern BMWs and modern cars, it's still sharp, it's still precise, it still lets you know enough of what's going on beneath you. And for an SUV to be fun, yeah, pretty extraordinary really. But then, imagine I got the kids in the back. Whack us back in comfort mode, everything quietens down, the steering becomes lighter, the throttle pedal less responsive, the suspension becomes waftier, more undulating, and everything just calms down. It just feels relaxing to drive. The kids are asleep in the back, even over bigger bumps like this. And the car has this dual personality that you can just turn on and off like a light switch. It's genuinely quite extraordinary how the X3 does this. And this isn't even the M. In fact, one thing I did mention in the M review is that you can't really turn off that M-ness. Which, you know, if you're buying an M car, kind of makes sense. You do want it to be permanently sporty. But this has enough M in it for me. It's an SUV at the end of the day. If I wanted a proper sports car, I would have bought an M3. But if I just want something that I can still have fun in, I can fit the family in, and I can do long distances in, but I can still take the slightly longer route instead of just taking the motorway through Wales, this is the SUV that you should do it in. It is genuinely the perfect jack of all trades. Now, if you want more fuel economy, the only thing I'd say is go for the X3 30D. Now, if you want to see the review I did of that car, click on the top right hand corner now, or you can go for the M340D if you want even more torque. But the 30D is the perfect balance again. The 40i though, it gives you that little bit of spice. It's that cherry on top that I absolutely love. And for 85,000 miles, this car is barely running. Honestly, this thing, if you look after it, I reckon these cars are going to do 500,000 miles easily, as long as you change the PCV. Anyway, as always, my name has been Tom. If you enjoy content like this, please give us a like and why not subscribe. As not only can you see more content like this, you can see everything we have for sale, which includes this surprisingly nice X3 M40i. Anyway, as always, my name has been Tom, and you have been watching Paragon Cars. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.